the things that we found super helpful when we were trying to select what kind of camper to get, other than going around and looking at campers for 2 years, was to look at people's tours online that they showed of their actual rigs. It was nice to be able to see their features inside and out. So we thought that today we would share with you a tour of our Montana High Country 305 RL that we absolutely love. So I'm going to show you the inside and Eric's going to show you the outside features. So come on in and take a peek at the inside of what we affectionately call Monty. So welcome to Monty. So I'm going to show you some features of each of the areas of our camper. So we'll just start here where you first come in. When you first come into the RV, you're going to see a little kind of hutch organizational area. So it's got some nice cabinets that I use for storage of the cups and things like that. And then got a couple storage drawers because everybody has a junk drawer in their RV. And some good cabinets down here for more dishes storage. And then because we have a furry white critter that comes with us, of course this is where I found the spot to put Jasper's bowls. It's pretty much out of the way most of the time. And because he is like the messiest drinker ever, I've put this little rubber mat down to contain at least some of his spills that he tends to make. All right, so then we've got a pretty nice pantry in the RV. I like that it has kind of this, I don't know if you call it smoked glass or whatever, but that way you don't see all the stuff in there. But inside you've got a pretty decent amount of storage space, and right now because we are only weekend campers, I don't have to store a lot of food in here, but when we've gone on longer trips, I can get a lot of things in here. And if we were full-timers, I'd probably add in extra shelves because you can see how tall this space is. This space is so wasted in there, and I would probably add in some extra shelves so I could store even more food in my pantry. All right, moving on to our dining area. Our rig came with a table and 4 chairs, which I actually really like. Sometimes people really enjoy the booth kind of setting. This felt a little more homey to me, so I really enjoy the fact that we have a table and chairs. Our chairs are kind of cool because they have some storage in them, and I actually use that storage area to put my things like napkins and placemats and stuff like that. And they then strap down, there's little rings down at the bottom on the ground that you can strap the chairs together so that when you're traveling, they don't move all over the place. So it's really nice and handy and looks very homey. We also have really nice theater seating in our rig. Now, I'm not a recliner person at home. I kind of think they're ugly, but these are super comfortable. Love them because you can sit here, not you, Jasper, and they have electronic foot raisers, so you've got a nice footrest. They really reclined, so you can get super comfortable. And it faces the TV and the fireplace. They have nice lighting up above, so it's really, really great. Another nice thing that we have is we have a full queen size sofa bed in here so that when we have company over, you have lots of additional seating. It folds out and makes a fairly comfortable bed. I actually store the bedding for it underneath the couch, so I don't even have to take up cabinet space for that. You never even know it's there. And because we travel with this guy, I do have to have a space for him as well. So we keep his what we call hammock bed right here, and then when we get here, I always have to get out his box of toys, just like you would for a toddler, so that he is happy and has a nice place to hang in the camper. Now, we do have great storage in these cabinets up here. So I'm going to do the short girl thing and hop up on the couch. But again, it's got that nice smoked glass so that you don't see really what's in here, and has lots of storage space that I don't even fill up most of the time. And then you've got 2 more cabinets here and lighting underneath, which is really nice. Our entertainment center area has lots of nice features as well. Again, you've got really big storage cabinets that I use to store our movies, some paperwork, my crock pot, lots of space up there for whatever you might need. We do have a TV that you can pull out and swivel if you need to adjust the angle, like if somebody was watching this in the sofa bed, like when our son and his wife come to stay with us, they'll pull that out and angle it so that they can watch the TV in there. It does have a stereo system in here that's not super fabulous, but it does work. And then we have one of those little fake electric fireplaces that I wasn't so sure on until we have camped in the cooler weather. This thing not only is supposed to be aesthetically pleasing, it puts off some great heat. So it is nice and toasty in here, even though right now outside it's 30-some degrees. So this little heater that is our fireplace is fabulous. Moving on to our kitchen area, our RV came with an RV refrigerator. So that means that it not only runs on electric, but if you don't have your electric hooked up, like you're boondocking or something, it also can run on propane. And it's a fairly decent sized one. You've got a pretty big freezer compartment and a fairly large refrigerator compartment. Next to the stove, we've got more storage. So again, short girl problems. I'm going to step on my little lip here and tippy toe it, but I've got some good storage up here. So I put things up here that I don't use quite as often. And luckily I have a husband that's 6'2", so he can always reach things that I can't get to. And another thing I like about this is that I have a full-size microwave. So many RVs that we looked at had those little dinky ones that I don't even know you could pop a bag of popcorn in. But I have a full-size microwave that you can put really large dishes in, which is really nice for heating things up. I use this more than I ever thought I would when we are out on our travels. You've got a little storage compartment here that I've had a hard time figuring out what I would use it for, but you can see I use it to store my bread. That way my bread doesn't get squished. In the stove area, I do have a propane stove, which I really like because at home I cook on gas. It's a 3-burner stove. And you do have the lovely RV oven, which yes, you really can cook things in. And conveniently, there is an outlet placed right here by the stove, which is nice, so I can plug in things like an Instant Hot or things like that. You've also got some storage next to here. This is where I store my baking sheets and some larger items. And again, I have so much space in here that I don't even have to worry about not having enough room for things. I can add more stuff in there later. It's a great cabinet. And then I've got storage down below, which is where I keep my skillets. So last feature in my kitchen is my kitchen island, which was another thing originally that I didn't think I wanted. I thought I wanted the nice open floor space. I love my island. It gave me lots of extra storage. So you can see I've got a drawer where I keep all of my like washcloths and hot pads for my skillets, things like that. It's got a built-in trash can thing, and that's another thing that RVers often complain about is they don't know where to put the trash can. Well, I don't have to worry about it. I've got a built-in spot. I've got great storage underneath my sink, and so that's where I keep all my cleaning products. And then the thing I love the most is that my island comes with these little toppers to plug up the sink, and there's one for the other side as well. And then I have a full island if I need to do lots of prep work, or if we have company over and I want to serve food in here buffet style, I can just cover all that over and have a great workspace. So the island has been a really, really nice feature of my RV. And then I do have 4 drawers on this side that I use for my silverware and my large utensils and towels and more kitchen gadgets because I'm kind of a foodie person. So the island, really great. Now some other things that I haven't pointed out yet in the kitchen that are nice. You have a skylight up at the top that you can open the shade if you want some extra light during the daytime, or if it's really hot and you don't want the extra heat coming into the RV, you can close that down as well. And we have a ceiling fan, and that is great when you have air that you need to circulate and make it just feel a little bit more airy inside the RV. I really like my ceiling fan in the RV. A couple more things to point out in the main living space deal with the ceiling as well. We have ducted air conditioning, which is really nice because RV air conditioners can be super loud. And the one that is ducted is really quiet. The noise is pretty much on the outside. And so it's fairly quiet when you're running your air conditioning. And there are little round vents all over the RV that air conditioning comes out of. And it's also your heat pump in the winter. It will put out warm air. And then we also have I don't know, people call it a fantastic fan, a magic fan. I call it the attic fan because it functions like my attic fan at home. But it's a fan that will suck all the air up out of your RV. It has a nice rain sensor on it that if it's raining, it's going to automatically close so you don't get water in there. But I use that when I'm cooking stuff on the stove that might really put a lot of smoke out, or a lot of steam that might set off your smoke detector, which happens way too often in RVs. But when you have that on, you're not going to have that kind of problem. So I really like that fan, and there are just controls right here for it that you just press fan on. It's going to open it up and start sucking the air right out, and then just has a button to close it. Moving into the hallway area, we do have controls right here on the side of the bar cabinet area, and this is where you have some light switches for your bar lights, your island lights, and the trim lights. And yes, we labeled them with the label maker so that we know exactly which ones those go to. And then you have your command center right in here. So it does have some more nice storage up here. This is where I store some coolers that we take on day trips. And then we have our normal things that tell you where your black tank levels are, your gray tank levels are. And this is where you turn on all of your other lights. This is where you put the awnings in and out and the slides in and out. And it's nice that it's all in one easy to use little panel, and anything that wasn't labeled, we labeled it to make it super easy to use. I've also got a nice little cabinet right here where we use, it's got some hooks in here to store things like jackets or hats, or we use it to store backpacks and stuff like that, and it's handy. Now let's go into the bathroom. Because our RV has a pretty narrow hallway, they did some nice engineering of the bathroom door. It's actually going to tilt inside so it doesn't take up the whole space, and you can actually have the door open and still be able to walk through the hallway like that feature. And then it just has your typical bathroom stuff. So you've got your storage cabinets, and they're super deep. So I can put lots of things in my storage cabinets, and then there's even a cubby down here. And our toilet, luckily in our RV toilet, is a porcelain toilet, so you don't have to worry about creaking when you sit down and letting everybody know that you're in the bathroom. Our shower is a pretty good size. When you come on in here, there's plenty of room. It's got a skylight for tall people like my husband. We actually really like our shower head that was in here. A lot of people don't like their built-in ones. Ours has great pressure. It feels awesome. I like it better than my one at home. It's got a nice bench for ladies when you have to shave your legs and things like that. And it does have places to set your shampoo and stuff. There are little ledges built in, which is really nice. Now, the one thing I don't like in this bathroom is my medicine cabinet. I'm hoping that you can see this reflection right now. That little short 5'2" girls can't see in the mirror. I can only see from my nose up. So that was not good design for short people. It's great for tall people like my husband, not for me. But we fixed that problem by putting a mirror on the door so that I can see as well. But this does have nice storage in it. Got plenty of room for all your toiletries. Again, you can see that we don't even use the top half because I don't use a lot of girl product stuff. So not a lot of extras that maybe some other people might have. And then you do have some drawers, plenty of storage space in those. So we have 3 drawers. And then we've got pretty decent storage underneath, and that's where we put our toilet paper holder. I just have one of these ones that's just a little standalone rack instead of having to try to drill into things. And again, we have one of those little fantastic fan kind of things that you will turn on when you're taking your showers to suck all the moisture out, because you don't want moisture in a camper. You don't want to have that on though when you are flushing a toilet. Make sure the fan would be off. All right, the last part of the inside tour is our bedroom, which is really cozy, and we really like our bedroom. One of the nice features of this camper is that we have a king size bed, which is what we're used to at home. And so many of the campers have just a queen or even less. So we were really thankful to get an RV at our price point that had a king size bed. Now it is a little tight on the sides when you try to go in to make the bed and stuff like that. You can see I kind of have to squeeze in, but I'll take that for having the extra sleeping space, especially since we have a dog that likes to sleep in the bed. Thanks, husband. Another great storage feature in the bedroom is the under the bed space. The bed lifts up and it is on hydraulics. And inside we have a ton of space under here. Even way back in the back, under the kind of raised up part, there's still, I don't know, about 8 inches of space. So we can store some things under there. So that's where I store my Halloween decorations for Halloween camping. And then you can see I can put these big giant tubs in here full of stuff, and I still have lots of room. So if you were a long-term person, you would have a crazy amount of storage in here. And for me, it's more space than I even know what to do with. We have a television cabinet built in that has, again, a TV that kind of, you can pull it out and swivel it if you needed to, but in here you really don't, just because of this setup. We have a built-in dresser space that's not super deep, but it's good enough to be able to put things in the drawers. So you have 2 little drawers on the top and then 2 drawers here that are fairly narrow, but they're deep. So you can still get a lot of stuff in the drawers. So those are really nice. And then over here, we do have a closet here that is prepped for washer and dryer. Now, because we are not full-time people, that's not a need for us right now, but that is in my future sometime when we go long-term traveling. But it's really nice. It has an automatic sensor light that comes on. You can see that the cabinets are really tall and really deep. So I'm able to store lots of things in all 3 levels of this. And again, someday I'll have a washer and dryer in it. And then our closet space might look a little weird to you. You're thinking, why are there clothes just out here in the open? Well, it does have nice sliding doors that are on here that are wood trimmed and actually have mirrors in them, which makes the room feel a little bit bigger. But we had a little glitch that happened with ours on a bumpy road. We had a little screw that came down, which made it to where you couldn't get the doors open. So Eric had to take the doors off and go do some repair to them. And so on our last few travels, we have had those at home while the glue is drying on the repair, and the closet's just open. And we kind of like it. We've decided that it's nice to have, for Eric especially, who's a taller guy, when he's over on his side of the bed and is facing sideways, he's not bumping into the doors. He can just kind of have this open space, and it makes it easier for both of us to access our clothes at the same time. And nobody's in the bedroom but us, so we don't have to worry about it looking pretty. So we're thinking we may leave the doors off. But that way, look at this closet. It is huge. We can fit so many things on here. We went on a 2-week trip this summer, and I don't know, I brought like 30 pairs of shoes and so many clothes. It was ridiculous. But we had so much space, and that's one of the things we love about the bedroom. Now, we did have to add in a second air conditioning unit. A lot of these Montana High Country 305s do come in with the second air conditioner already installed. Ours did not, so that was something that we added on, and I'm really thankful that we did, because the ducted air conditioning, it's a little hard for it to totally cool down this end by itself. It helps a little, but we can turn on this unit all by itself. It is one of the ones that's the loud kind, but I kind of like it because it's white noise to sleep to. It makes the room super cold or super warm if you turn on the heat feature. And if we ever do any boondocking and just want to run one air conditioner on battery or something, or on a generator, we would be able to cool down our sleeping space and not have to worry about cooling or heating the rest of the rig. So that's the tour of the inside. We love our 305 RL. It fits us so perfectly for our family of 2 plus a dog. And we can even have our son and his wife come stay with us because of the couch. It really is a nice rig for us.
Well, welcome to the outside of the camper. We're going to start with the stairs. Now, this was a modification that we did to the trailer. When we bought this 305 RL, it had the fold-out stairs, and they were fine, but whenever you would walk up the stairs, they felt a little bit spongy, and we really wanted a solid feeling, and we loved these wide, solid step stairs, and so we did add those. It was an easy install. basically all that we had to do was screw them into the floor plate here. These lift up into the rig and then the door closes. And then we also added underneath behind the stairs, whenever this is flipped up, it exposed the big hole opening where the fold down stairs used to be. And so we added a storage compartment down here, and that's where we keep Jasper's bowl and our floor mat as well. After we finish up here, we do have some outdoor outlets, which is really handy for plugging in either any cooking items or outdoor lighting, or things if we're running power to our gazebo. We usually plug it into this outlet right here. In our bays here, this is one of the reasons why we just love a fifth wheel, is the basement storage. This door is on magnet clips, and so it stays up without having to hold on to it. You do have hookups underneath here if you wanted to install a TV with a swivel arm to pull that out. If you wanted to do some tailgating and watch some TV outside. We have some other supplies hanging and otherwise stored down under here. But as you can see, there is all kinds of additional space if we wanted to add either some shelves or more hooks and so on. So underneath we store things like our chairs, our rug, table, our gazebo, our grill, fishing supplies, kayak supplies. We have our inflatable kayak, additional chairs, and then let's go to the other side and I'll show you from the other way, because this passes completely through the underside of the RV. Our rig has two propane storage compartments, one on each side. All you do is simply twist open the top of the propane tank just like normal, and then we close that down before we leave our campsites. Coming around front to the underbelly, we have our storage compartment here and a little clip up top to hold it in place so it doesn't swing down and bash me on the head. Underneath here, we have a few of our utility items. So we have stuff like wheel chocks, we have tools, we have more tools. I have my electrical stuff, which would mostly include extension cords and so on. I have some outdoor candles that we use on our picnic table, and then all of our party lights are down here as well. On the other side, tucked back over, I keep my Vi-Air, which is my air pump, which hooks into my truck battery and allows me to air up some high pressure tires, because the tires that we added to this rig were not the standard ones that came with it. We upgraded our tires to some Class G tires that have a PSI of 110. And so we needed a strong pump to be able to do that. And then we also have our battery system in here as well. Up here on the pin box, we have three things I want to point out. First of all, we have this flag mount, and we did a separate video on this, so we would love for you to check that video out. It's just screwed right here into the pin box. We also installed our Anderson hitch system, and we have a complete video on that as well. We really love our Anderson hitch. And the third thing is this backup mirror, which is sometimes handy, and this is built into the front of the rig. On this side, we have our second propane tank. And the other side of our basement pass-through storage. So over here we have some of, again, more utility items. We have a tub for our power cable, for our sewer sanitation stuff. We have our, what we call our slunky, which we'll show in just a second. We have some of our water supplies. So all of those things are here next to our utility station. I keep this little hose thing plugged in because it's a little challenging to get this hose installed, and so I just leave this ready to go. And this has hot and cold water on the spray, and this is what I use for Jasper. Makes it really handy. But the other purpose that's really convenient for this is if we come back from a hike and we have muddy shoes, this is a handy thing to have an outdoor shower. And then this is where we control all of our systems. This would have our water hookups. This is where we flush our tanks. This has our water releases. This is also where we do our winterizing. Moving on around, we have our furnace and our hot water heater. There is a switch inside the hot water heater that we have to turn on and off each time that we need to use the rig. Our rig came with one sewer storage hose, and that works out honestly very, very well, but there were times that we needed a little bit more length from our sewer hose, and so we recently added a second storage tube. And now we have 2 of those hoses that we can hook together as needed. And that all hooks up to this. This is our black and gray water release valve. And we added this onto the end, and that way whenever we get to our site and we take off the end cap, we don't get any kind of dripping or issue. So we added this additional valve, and then we have the elbow, the clear elbow, so that when we are flushing, we can make sure that the tanks are getting completely clean. And then of course we have all of our hoses. This is our slinky, or our slunky as we call it, that we were talking about, that helps make sure that you maintain a gradual slope all the way to your sewer hookup. Even though we don't have solar yet, this rig is pre-wired for solar, so you could install the panels and then they plug in right here. A few things on the back of our rig. This is where the 50 amp power cord plugs in. We also have a receiver hitch right here, and that's so that we can hook up some type of a utility, whether it be a bike rack or a storage shelf, something like that. It's not intended to pull something heavy like a car or a boat, but you can put some type of accessory shelf there. We have our wonderful Today is an Adventure Day logo. Follow us on YouTube. And then we have a ladder, which is really handy because I can climb all the way up onto the roof. And I do that every single time to make sure that the top of the slides are swept clean before we pull them back in. Up top, our rig was pre-wired for a backup camera, and we did go ahead and install that because it was not very expensive and it was super easy, just to kind of plug and play. And that allows us to have a little bit of extra sight line whenever we're backing our rig into place. We love that this unit has slides. There are 3 of them, and that helps expand the interior living space while we're camping. There are several different slide mechanisms you can get on various rigs. This one has cable slide mechanisms, which is the lightest weight, the least expensive, and quite honestly, probably the least durable of the options. This is what you'll find in more of the entry-level 5th wheels. Another thing that helps to save weight is that this rig has 4 leveling jacks, and they are electric leveling jacks. You'll see some 5th wheels that have a 6-point leveling system and some that have a 4-point leveling system. 6 points is obviously better than 4, but causes there to be a little bit more weight. Hydraulic is a little better than electric, but adds a little bit more weight. And so since this is a little more on the entry-level side of a 5th wheel, this only has the 4 instead of the 6, and this has electric instead of hydraulic. Still works great. We love being able to push a button and having the rig auto level, but something to keep in mind if you're ever in the market to purchase a 5th wheel. Are you curious about these red buckets? We have a video about that too. Check it out on our channel. Another feature that we love is the power awning. Press a button, the awning comes out, press a button, and the awning comes in. We hope that you enjoyed a look at our Montana 305RL Monty 5th wheel. It has really allowed us to get out and explore because today is an adventure day.